What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, January 20th, 2025, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 19:08 Eastern Time here in the United States, and President Trump has just been sworn in as the next president of the United States, the 47th president. It should be interesting to see how things change overseas with Trump at the helm. Are we going to get peace in Ukraine, or will the war continue on? Will Putin invade the Baltics? Will Trump and Israel attack Iran and denuclearize Iran? Will China make their move on Taiwan? Will North Korea test more nuclear weapons and potentially attack South Korea? We're going to have to wait and see. But domestically, it's looking like Trump is going to be a very good president for the United States, in my opinion, domestically. But we have some interesting information already coming out about Trump's inauguration, and I'm just going to present the information to you, and you can make up your own mind about this. But apparently Trump did not put his hand on the Bible when he was being sworn in, and you can see multiple mainstream media news outlets are covering this now. Actually, if you just put Trump hand on Bible in Google, you'll see just dozens and dozens of headlines here. All the major media outlets are just going crazy about this. So figured I'd report it to you. I think it's pretty interesting. And also what's interesting is at the Capital One rally, his post-inaugural rally, he was walking through the crowds at the Capital One Arena with no barrier between himself and the fans. Okay, you can see all these people here, and he's walking around and just shaking their hands, greeting them. So I don't know if these people were just pre-screened, and that's why they didn't have a barrier, but this seems to be pretty dangerous, in my opinion, considering what happened to him in Pennsylvania. But this is very, very interesting and concerning. Thought I would share that with you. What's even more concerning is that we have this uninterrupted encrypted data stream being transmitted on the primary U.S. nuclear war frequency for the third day in a row, which is potentially a record. I personally have never heard this data stream go on for this long. The last time I can remember that we had such a long data stream was right before the Culinary Night incident. And if you don't know what Culinary Night was, there's a link in the description below this video to my Rumble page. You can watch the full live stream of Culinary Night on my Rumble because YouTube deleted it. They said it was misinformation. But basically, back in April, after the first time that Iran used ballistic missiles on Israel, there was one night where the U.S. scrambled B-52s in the air, and they armed some kind of missiles on those B-52s, and we were tracking them flying over the Atlantic and the aerial refuelers that were meeting them over the Straits of Gibraltar, and then they were called back at the last minute. But right before that event, this uninterrupted data stream was going on for like 2 days straight, and now we're up to 3 days. So I don't know if this is related to Trump's inauguration or if something else is about to go down. Let me just play a clip of this for you from this evening. So what you're hearing is encrypted data, some kind of bulletin basically for our nuclear forces, and it's been going non-stop since Friday. That's the longest I've ever heard this data stream go. And we also had massive reconnaissance last night over the Baltics. Absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like it before. So we had 2 NATO AWACS planes over northern Poland. We also had a P-8 Poseidon sub-hunter that was flying really low near Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, and it was also making several passes near Kaliningrad, which is the Russian province, and also near northern Poland. And then in addition to that, what's even more concerning is we had a U.S. RQ-4 Global Hawk Recon drone that, after making several passes in northern and eastern Poland along the border with Russia and Belarus, it went up to Estonia, and it was doing dozens and dozens of loops here in Estonia along the border with Russia. And at the same time, a Swedish recon plane was scrambled, and they were both doing patterns here in Estonia along the border with Russia. Okay, I've never personally seen the Swedish recon plane doing these patterns here in Estonia at the same time as the American RQ-4. Okay, so both the Swedish and American recon aviation were active in Estonia last night, doing dozens and dozens of loops along the border with Russia. And then you had that sub-Hunter in the Baltic and 2 AWACS planes in Poland. So something is going on over here. Also, Putin's doomsday plane went from St. Petersburg to Moscow at the same time as all of this recon was happening here in Estonia and elsewhere. So very interesting. And then we also had this Russian space agency plane fly from Rwanda to Moscow last night, which is pretty weird. And Trump said today, "I was saved by God to make America great again." So even though he didn't put his hand on the Bible, he said, "I was saved by God to make America great again." And the Department of Homeland Security confirmed today that a Border Patrol agent was shot and killed in Vermont on I-91 during a traffic stop near the northern border today. There were 2 suspects in the car, one of which is dead. Apparently they were illegal immigrants. Okay, so a shootout at the northern border in Vermont along the border with Canada with illegal immigrants. Very, very serious, very sad. Please keep the family of this Border Patrol agent in your prayers. And Trump is saying that all U.S. military service members that were expelled for refusing the COVID vaccine will be reinstated with full back pay. Wow. And Texas is installing additional buoys in the Rio Grande River today to stop illegal immigration. This video was posted by Governor Greg Abbott. You can see these massive buoys here. They already have a bunch on the river, but they're adding more to stop the illegal immigrants from crossing with boats, okay? And they also have a bunch of razor wire here. The Texas Guard has been deployed here. But remember, just about a week ago, a Russian mercenary from the Wagner Group was captured here at the Rio Grande River trying to cross, and he had thousands of dollars in cash and a drone, okay? And he had 2 passports, one from Kazakhstan, one from Russia. This is a Wagner mercenary, guys. These are hardened killers, okay? They were involved in all the most brutal battles in eastern Ukraine, where they just totally slaughtered civilians and Ukrainian soldiers and committed all kinds of war crimes that I don't even want to mention. Okay, so they're sneaking over our border, guys. That is very, very concerning. And Senator Lindsey Graham said today that there is no point in making a new Iran nuclear deal because instead Trump can just bomb Iran's nuclear facilities with Israel. And Offutt Air Base, which is home of U.S. Strategic Command, plans to conduct a large-scale exercise from March 26th through April the 4th. Very interesting. And Trump is going to lift the pause on the 2,000-pound bomb supply to Israel. Remember, Biden refused to give Israel 2,000-pound bombs. Well, Trump is going to lift that pause. And he's also expected to reverse the Biden sanctions on Israeli settlers. And Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulated U.S. President Donald Trump ahead of his inauguration on Monday and expressed his willingness to engage in dialogue with the incoming White House administration. We see statements from the newly elected U.S. president and his team expressing a desire to restore direct contacts with Russia, contacts that were severed not through our fault by the outgoing administration. We also hear his statement on the need to do everything possible to prevent a third world war. As for resolving the situation in Ukraine, I want to emphasize the goal should not be a temporary ceasefire, but a lasting peace based on respect for the legitimate interests of all people and nations living in the region. Okay, and also Zelensky posted this video congratulating Trump and wishing him and the U.S. well. So both Putin and Zelensky congratulating Trump, trying to get on Trump's good side. Obviously, he says here, I wish him and America success. And this update was sponsored by Patriot Supply. Guys, Patriot Supply is doing a discount on their 1-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to use my link, preparewithNYPrepper.com. They have 4 months of freeze-dried food, which has a shelf life of 25 years. And their normal price is $250. And with my link, that'll drop the price down to $200. So you save $50 on this 1-month emergency food supply from Patriot Supply. All of the food is packed into 2 rugged, watertight buckets. 4 weeks of food in just 2 buckets. You can fit that in any apartment or even in your vehicle. But use my link, preparewithNYPrepper.com, to get $50 off the Patriot Supply 1-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. And we're hearing now that a Russian guided bomb on January the 8th targeted the city of Zaporizhia, resulting in significant civilian casualties. According to various sources, the attack killed 13 people and injured over 110. The strike hit near a public transport stop in the city, affecting workers waiting after their shifts. And Russia's Rosneft strategic fuel storage depot in Lysky in the Voronezh Oblast continues to burn days after Ukrainian attack drones hit the facility. Russian channels are reporting that the authorities are struggling to get the fire under control. Wow, so one of Rosneft's strategic fuel storage depots is still burning after several days. Very, very serious strike by Ukraine on Russia. And fire crews in Los Angeles are responding to a brush fire near the famous Griffith Observatory. Apparently, firefighters have put the fire out, but arson investigators have been requested. Park rangers reported seeing fireworks in the area of the brush fire, and an arson suspect has already reportedly been detained after an LAPD search via air. And here's a picture of the Griffith Observatory earlier today. You can see the smoke in the background. Apparently, the fire has been put out. But I want to remind you guys that a couple of days ago, ISIS put out a statement calling on their followers to use wildfires as a tool, okay? So it's possible that this was some kind of a terrorism situation, okay? I can't say it here on YouTube, all right? But this sounds very suspicious to me, okay? Suddenly a fire breaks out next to the Griffith Observatory just days after ISIS put out that statement. And then there's another fire raging in the Poway Woods in California, and we have critical fire weather conditions right now in Southern California. Winds are expected to reach 100 miles an hour over the next 2 days, so the fires could reignite and start spreading again. And the New York Times is reporting that Trump wants Elon Musk to have an office close to him, and that likely Elon Musk will be given an office in the West Wing near Trump. Wow. And the White House has confirmed that Vivek Ramaswamy will not serve in the Department of Government Efficiency. And the Syrian leader says that Trump might be able to bring peace to the Middle East. And a portrait of retired General Mark Milley, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has been taken off the walls of the Pentagon after it was unveiled less than 2 weeks ago, a U.S. official confirmed to CBS News. Wow, so the Trump administration removing a portrait of Mark Milley from the Pentagon. Wow. And both the Secretary of State nominee Marco Rubio and Secretary of Defense nominee Pete Hegseth have been advanced today by their respective Senate committees, with the full Senate expected to approve them in a vote later tonight. So Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth expected to be voted in to be confirmed as Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense. And a Senate panel has also approved John Ratcliffe as Trump's CIA director. And I want to just update you guys on this extreme cold that is plunging down to the lower 48. You can see here that there's winter storm warnings all the way down to southern Texas, northern Florida, New Orleans. Okay, all of the Gulf Coast is under a winter storm warning. There could be snow accumulations of up to 10 inches in some areas of southern Louisiana and southern Mississippi and southern Alabama. This is absolutely insane. Several inches of snow also expected in northern Florida. This is totally crazy. And we also have extreme cold warnings for the Midwest, for New Mexico, Colorado, the Panhandle of Texas, for the interior Northeast and the Appalachians. Okay, wind chills expected to drop to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit in the interior Northeast and the Appalachian Mountains. And in North Dakota, they're talking about wind chills as low as minus 50, okay, over the next 2 days. So please don't go anywhere unless you have to. Okay, if you have to go to work, obviously you have to go to work, but make sure you have warm clothing in your vehicle, a wool blanket, recovery gear in case you get stuck on the side of the road in snow or something like that. Keep some traction boards in your trunk and a shovel in case you got to dig snow out from under your car. Keep a recovery strap in case somebody passes by. Maybe they can give you a yank out of the snow. Okay, and keep warm clothing in your vehicle, guys, because you do not want to be stuck on the side of the road in those kinds of conditions, okay? So be very, very careful. And here's the snow forecast for southern Louisiana. You can see 4 to 6 inches forecasted for Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and the nearby area. Basically all of southern Louisiana, 4 to 6 inches of snow, guys. Think about that. That is insane. We're currently in a very strong La Nina, and we're heading into a grand solar minimum. So these types of events could happen in greater frequency over the next couple of winters and over the next few weeks. Okay, but here we have a high-end snow forecast calling for up to 10 to 13 inches of snow for areas of southern New Orleans, Baton Rouge, possibly even 13 inches of snow. And then we also have a winter storm warning in effect from 7 p.m. Tuesday to 1 p.m. Wednesday for northern Florida. Okay, heavy mixed precipitation expected. Total snow and sleet accumulations of up to 1 inch and ice accumulations around 1/4 inch. Okay, so northern Florida also. And then here we have winter storm warnings all the way down to the Rio Grande. Check this out. This is totally insane, guys. Okay, winter storms all the way down to Mexico. And then here you can see they have this cold weather advisory or wind chill advisory for southern Texas as well. Odessa going down to 2 degrees Fahrenheit. Absolutely insane. And Eglin Air Force Base in Florida is set to close due to winter weather tomorrow. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back tomorrow or later tonight with more breaking news. And check out my 24/7 live stream. I will be monitoring our nuclear forces in the 24/7 stream. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.